Welcome to the Creator's Journal podcast, where we discuss creativity and mindsets that lead to fulfilling and productive lives. This podcast features many meaningful discussions with others about creative lessons, how they apply to life, how they apply to business, and they all revolve around the underlying excitement and joy that we as creators feel when we apply creativity to the world around us in our own unique way. I think that feeling is incredible. We share creative lessons in business, athletics, mindfulness, journaling, meditation, whatever the domain, to help us grow not just as designers and creators, but as people. So get out your mental journal, fire up your internal creative software. Thank you for tuning in, and please enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Creative Journal. I am absolutely stoked to be talking to you guys today. I feel like it's been a while since I've talked directly in this microphone. I don't know, maybe it's just phases of life, but I feel like I am 20 years older than the last time I sat down with this mic, with this audio frequency dialogue here in front of me and recorded something. So today we have kind of an interesting episode. I recently gave a talk at Grizzell Middle School here in Dublin, Ohio. And the topic of my talk was somewhere along the lines of creativity, and I really focused on fear setting. Talking in front of these middle school kids was very daunting. It was for the FCA program that Grizzell puts on at their school, and they do a great job. I want to say, first of all, thank you to Lindsay and Mary, the two organizers of the FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, for Grizzell Middle School. And I was referred to this group by Renee Vidor after I read her book and, shouted her out on LinkedIn, and we met at a couple events here and around Dublin. But she recommended me for the FCA, and I thought I did not want to let the opportunity pass me by to talk, and if I just could impact one kid with, my lesson of creativity and fear setting, which is what we focused on today, then it would have been worth it. And if I could relate my time in athletics and my relationship with God to them and maybe impact just one kid, that was the goal. But today we're going to play the audio from that talk, which is actually super cool. Mary was nice enough to send me the video of it. The audio is a little bit choppy, I'm going to warn you guys, but I did a lot with my magic correcting and of a couple AI audio correctors, and I think we managed to salvage something pretty good. But the fear setting technique by Tim Ferriss is what we did with two of the participants named Parker and Leo, two stud athletes at Grizzell, and I kind of picked on them a little bit with with some of this, but it ended up going really well. I got a good response. Still working on my public speaking a lot, so I'm so grateful I had footage of this, as cringe-inducing as it was, to go through and just kind of pick apart my speech and see if I got my point across. But it's even doubly hard to share to this audience as well. So, but we're gonna do it because that's how we do things, as we face the uncomfortable. But yeah, I hope you guys take a little bit away from this talk at Grizzell Middle School last week and learn a thing or two about fear setting for yourself, which in a creative career has become really important for me, and I think it can be for you as well. So without further ado, please welcome me.
About an hour west of here at a high school called Graham High School, much smaller than any of the schools that we have here in Dublin. And he played golf, and then he went on to play golf at Memphis University, where he went to college, and now he owns his own graphic design firm. So if you guys could give your attention to Andy and give him a round of applause as he comes up.
Yeah! On a foggy Friday.
How are you guys doing today? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was like when I was your guys' age, which really wasn't that long ago. It's like 5 or 6 years ago, but you'll understand, like, when you get a little bit older, it seems like a long time. But I want to thank Mary and Lindsay for having me. If you guys haven't already, give them like a really big hug after this is over, because they do a lot for you guys, and they are very awesome. I want want to thank you guys. But, so I want to start by giving a little overview of like my story in athletics. Just super quick, because I don't want to bore you guys with that. It's not a super incredible story. But, and then I'm going to pick on one of you guys to come up here and help me. We're going to do a little exercise together. I saw you raise your hand, so I'm not going to. Yeah, I saw you raise your hand. But, okay, so my name's Tim. I grew up about an hour and a half west of here, a small little farm town in Tim Ferriss, Ohio. If you guys haven't been there, don't worry, you're not missing anything. But I played all the sports growing up, like I'm sure a lot of you guys did. Basketball, baseball, golf, swimming. And when it came to high school, I really was just enamored with golf. And I'm sure you guys are getting to the age kind of where you're starting to see, you guys are doing tryouts right now, I know. You have the one sport that's kind of sticking out in your mind. And I'm sure like if you have tryouts right now, it's really at the forefront of your mind. And sports probably occupies a lot of your thoughts throughout the day. That's awesome. But, and I was the same way. And I think when sports are at the forefront of your guys' mind, they can kind of put a lot of things to the back burner. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring up today was, I was very guilty of having sports take over my life a lot. And even things like, you know, your relationship with God, your family, and your friends, and everything that can be really important kind of gets pushed aside. Which, I mean, when you're young is okay, but you always realize that, you know, you have the people behind you that love you, and at the end of the day, no matter what happens, they're always going to be for you. And I know I sound like an adult saying that, but I'm not much older than you guys, so just know that even when you get just a little bit older like me, that stuff is still true. So anyway, I played golf going after school. When it came time to go to college, I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to go play at Methodist in North Carolina, which I know you guys are all stud athletes, so that'll probably be the case for you in just a few short years. So when you have that opportunity, just take advantage of it. Just know what they have to say. And so basically, played a couple of years, went to college, and then the biggest thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, and I was kind of nervous coming up here because I'm not the best public speaker, but I realized that when I think about sports now, just a couple of years removed, what I wished, what I would have known is that no matter what happens, you always have your family, you always have God, you always have something behind you. And I think, especially when you're young and when sports is super important to you guys, like it is right now, when you're going through tryouts, when you're surrounded by all these amazing athletes. I know you guys are all really talented. You can compare yourself to others and you build it up in your mind what the worst thing that happen is, and then it never ends up happening. And at the end of the day, if everything goes wrong that can possibly go wrong on the field, anything goes wrong. If you get hurt, if you embarrass yourself, if you're crushed in the stands and you make an absolute fool of yourself, which I've done before, at the end of the day, you're going to go home to your family, you're going to go home to a relationship with God, you're going to go home to an atmosphere of love and everything, and there's always the next game. There's always the next day. So, and when I was playing, I was very much the victim of letting the over preparation and over anxiety of thinking about all these bad things get to my head, and I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I could. So you guys learned one thing today from a not so much older and not so much wiser than you guys person or athlete. That's all I'm gonna take away. But, so that's enough about me. I want to pick on one of you. We're going to do a little exercise. I know I mentioned you earlier, but who's the best?
He's gonna golf.
Yeah, I'll get you. What? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, I can kind of see the segmentation. We have girls over here and guys over here. So I'll just pick on the guys. Girls get a pass. But who's the best athlete in here? Tim? I know you were golfing. You got a pretty good swimsuit on. You're pretty good too? Okay, let's have both of you over here. You and you. Is anybody? Parker? Yeah. Play golf. Cool. Champ. Leo? Wrestle? That's funny how I hear that. Okay, so Parker and Leo. All right. So we're going to do a little exercise. I like to call this fear setting, okay? And it's going to be a little scary, but, you know, you guys are happy to handle it. So I'm going to take you through a match, a scenario. I want you guys to envision you're getting ready to play, all right? It's a big game. You're super nervous. How many of you guys get nervous before you play? Everyone? Yeah. I know. You guys are lying. I know. Everyone gets nervous. But, so we're going to take you guys through. I want you to envision your biggest match. Maybe it's state tournament. Maybe it's state tournament for you guys too. So, take yourself through that mindset. You're getting ready to start. I'm going to play a scenario out for you guys. We're going to kind of follow that and base it off the last scenario, basically. So I'm going to tell you guys something that's going to happen, and you're going to respond by saying, okay, then I would. So you're going to respond to how you would in the scenario if I were to play out in real life. Okay. So, Parker, you get to the first tee, and you sink the first shot. What do you do?
Just gonna try to calm myself down and like try and maybe hit an iron. Try to hit an iron. Just soft it up by the green. Try to make it fun.
There you go. Good answer. Leo, you get to the first match, and you get taken down right away. What do you do?
I try to stay strong on my base, just like recuperate, don't let them like further break me down, and just try to work up to get their hands and stand up.
Great answer. Okay. Okay, so you just take the first tee shot. You've done everything you just said. Walking to the next tee box, you sprain your ankle, and you just took a triple bogey on the house. Probably worse. 8, 9. Have you already? Yeah. 8. Yeah. You're walking to the next tee box. You sprain your ankle. You're already in a bad mood. You don't throw your clubs because we don't do that. But what do you do after all that happens?
I think I just gotta play golf and hit my drive. And just try to like maybe like try and get that like stuff in my ankle. Get it out there. Get it out there.
Yeah. Play with smart thing there. That's a great answer. Leo, you get taken down right away. You're recovering. You're feeling a little bit better. But all of a sudden, you get turned over on your back. And all of a sudden, you're down 8-0 in the first period. You've never been down this much. I don't know, you probably have. You have? Okay. But you're not used to being down this much. You're not used to being on your back. You're scared a little bit. You're intimidated. Not intimidated, but you've never been down this much in a match. And this is a match you really have to win. What do you do?
Bridge up and I flip them over.
Okay. What's your mindset going to that? Like, what do you think?
I'm gonna flip them over.
Okay, it's a good answer. Okay, Parker, you're on the next tee box. You have a broken ankle. You've already shanked 3 shots. You hobbled through the first 9 on one leg. You're having a heck of a time out there, and this is just the worst round of your life. You're feeling horrible, and all of a sudden, you get to the back 9. It starts raining, and basically everything is going wrong. You can tell where I'm going with this. Then you get to the next tee box on the back 9, okay? You ready to turn it around, okay? Then the girl that you like comes to watch you. And you're already playing horribly.
It doesn't work out for me.
I know you're all picturing, I know you're picturing. You don't have to share with us. But,
Yes, so many girlfriends.
I'm sorry. But what do you do now? What's going through your head? What do you think?
First, you make yourself think, oh, now it's gonna lemonade, chill yourself down. Then when you go to the team, if my girl wants me, then I just call my girl. And I don't even look at them. I just get my shot and play my game. So they can see that way.
Great answer. Okay. So, trying to make the last semester. But at the very end of the match, you take the guy down, but the ref doesn't call it, so you take down. You end up losing by 1. What do? You lost the state tournament, everything you worked all year for. Just, you're feeling horrible, you're sad, everything. What's going through your head, and what would you do after that?
So you pack your stuff, you go home, and you go wrestle harder next time and get better.
Okay, great answer. So yours ended on a better note. You're having a bad time. We're gonna end yours there. But I want to thank you guys both, Parker.
Good job, guys.
So you guys can tell where I was going with that. Basically, is the worst possible thing could happen to you guys, whether it's you humiliate yourself in front of your girl or you lose the master's in training your whole life for. If you follow the breadcrumbs down all the way to the very bottom, the worst possible thing that could happen, you're gonna go home to God, to a family that loves you, and an atmosphere of absolute love and privilege. And no matter what happens during tryouts, no matter what happens with anything in any of your sports, you guys can go into it not being able to lose if you think about these things ahead of time. Because you can go out there with so much confidence, so much bravado that okay, you can say to yourself like, okay, even if I'm Parker and I'm walking through the front and back nines with a broken leg in front of a girl and I'm humiliating myself, then I'm still going home to all these things, like my family, my relationship with God and everything. So that's the biggest thing like I would hope you guys get away from this. Like, so I'm not much older than you guys really. But just go into your sports, your school, anything with the mindset that you really can't lose if you have all these things, that you can rely back on. So that's really the gist of what I wanted to get across to you guys. So thank you guys, and thank you, Lindsay and Mary.